on journalists yesterday and the EPA task force or team which was going about eradicating the manufacture of shanfangs. We've seen their attack, subsequent accident, one of the journalists with a broken thigh, Aaron Ibrahim Abubakar as well, suffering some chest in his pains amongst many other things. Let's take you to YouTube. I say YouTube advisedly as well, but we're going to be listening right now to Professor Nanama Brown Kruche, who spoke to my colleague Alfred Okanse yesterday on what exactly happened and what the situation is with these journalists, and also bringing into perspective what all of this means for the fight against illegal mining.
Very much. We thank God that we all have our lives now. The best. It's just unfortunate that we have some injuries. As I said, the most critical one is a broken tie, which is one of the Joy TV cameraman who had a broken tie. Your correspondent, Abubakar, had some, he had chest pains and he is responding to treatment. Adom TV correspondent, that's Joseph with a head injury. He's also responding to treatment. Then we have some EPA staff who were also involved in the accident. They are all responding to treatment, and we have discussed it with the doctors and nurses in charge to pay special attention to them, because we were on a national assignment before this unfortunate incident happened. Yeah, so as the operation we started yesterday, it's a 3-week plan that the EPA has to ensure especially the services that others provide for mining in our water bodies, which is illegal. We plan to tackle that aspect as well. So we realize that it's not just enough to say stop mining in the river bodies, but again, we saw that we needed to deal with the suppliers. So we took over the shops, closed down many shops at the Arian Kwanta, as I narrated yesterday. So today we were on another route to close down some other shops. On our way near Obuase, we saw people on the ground, the galamsey happening on the ground. So we decided to have a look at what they were doing. When we stopped and walked into the area, in fact, where they're actually mining, they have access routes, so we had to stop by the roadside and walk to the ground, the field where they are mining. So as we were going closer, they were running away, and they did, all of them left by the time we got there. So we looked around what we could pick, we did pick. Whilst leaving, we saw that there were actually more of the excavators, 3 of the excavators that is inside a river body.
Inside?
So, inside river body. So in fact, they had mined in the river body and blocked the river in such a way that it has taken different tributaries around the area and flooded some places. It's messy. It was really a bad situation. So we actually went to the car and used another route to the place. And whilst there, the people also ran. We called them to come, and then just before we could even have a conversation, they had sent news around, and so we saw built men, a number of them came with guns. We had the military with us anyway, and the national security also were with us. But then we saw that we couldn't exchange fire, so we could not fight them. So we had to run for our lives. So in the course of we running, speeding on the road, we encountered this accident. So one of the cars, which had some EPA staff and some of the journalists, had a head-on collision with a truck that is actually carrying some pipes for these galamsey operations. We saw some of them on the field. So they had a head-on collision, and we had the injuries that they are now at the hospitals and attending to treatment.
I see. So you're indeed confirming that you were attacked by galamsey operators. I mean, we say well-built, heavily armed people who...
Yes. So, yeah. So some of them were dressed in black, like complete black from top to down. And some of them were wearing vests like this with CID written at the back. We asked them, in fact, the soldiers, the national security men, asked them of their ID card and stuff like that. So it was becoming confrontational, and then we had to leave because we couldn't. They said they cannot overpower them, so we had to leave. They had their arms, but we didn't. Of course, EPA doesn't. We didn't have, so we had to run.
I see. Now, what prompted the decision to run? Were they attempting to fire at you or attack you?
Yeah. So whilst they were having the confrontation, we got intel. So I got a phone call from Accra that we should leave immediately where we are, and that even the route we plan to take, we should not use it again, and we should not return on the same route we came from Kumasi to Obuasi. So we had to use another route altogether, much longer, through Central Region, through Western Region, and then back to Kumasi. But just before we reached Kumasi is when we had a head-on collision. And
this change in route, as a result of that call you got, was because intelligence had been picked that you could possibly be attacked if you use the same route you came?
Yes. So as I received the call, the national security operators also had a similar call. So they were giving us feedback as they drove right in front of my vehicle, and we had one driving 2 vehicles behind. So we got phone calls from different sources, but all from the national security, that picking intel that where we are is not safe, and that we had to take cover immediately.
This is troubling. And you say that you saw some of these heavily built men wielding weapons. They were wearing vests with CID written at the back of it?
Yeah, with guns. In fact, pump action, they said.
And they refuse to produce an ID to authenticate whether they are indeed CID officials?
Yeah, they didn't have any ID to identify themselves as security agents.
And the military personnel that you were with, were they armed?
Yeah, some had guns with them, but not all of them. But when they assessed the situation, they knew we cannot exchange like that, so we had to move.
Indeed, obviously, because with what you're describing, you were outnumbered, correct?
Exactly.
With the people that, because of the intel you had gotten, and the word that had gone out. And
actually, the longer we stayed, the more they came. So then, we had to leave almost immediately. We saw those signals and received the calls.
I see, but these persons who were wearing the CID vest, were they with the illegal miners?
I would say yes, because they asked the illegal miners, they were in their Wellington boots.
Right.
I mean, the illegal miners came in their Wellington boots on motorbikes, and these built-up men were in like normal military boots with their guns and their black outfits and the vests.
I see. Now, and they refused to, even with the interrogation from the military personnel you were with, they didn't want to cooperate. They didn't want to give the information as you were asking for.
Yeah, not at all. They couldn't produce any ID cards or any identification.
I see. And just based on that, the trail of information that you got, which led to you changing your course and taking a different course, is it to say that you were on some top speed because of the fear of your own life? A reason why it led to this coalition? Let's understand what led to this head-on coalition.
Okay, so we drove in a number of vehicles. The national security were ahead, were the lead vehicle, and my vehicle followed. So we had to go, it's let's say a number of vehicles in a convoy. So we had to move at the pace the national security operators are moving. So we couldn't help it, we had to just go.
I thank you, Prof, for this. And before I let you go, the other colleague of mine, you say, has a broken tie. What's the extent of the injury? Do you know?
Yeah, I learned from the doctors that it's broken and position of, so it's broken and position changed as well. So they assessed the situation, and I learned they can fix it even here in Ghana. But I got the assurance from the presidency that if it cannot be fixed in Ghana, they are ready to send him out of the country to get it fixed.
You've been on this operation, as you indicated, for a number of days now. In fact, a couple of days you closed down a whole chamfang manufacturing company. They were fabricating chamfangs in this country.
Yeah.
Chinese.
Yes. And yeah. So in the warehouses where the water pumps, the champagne engines, the water hose, the mats, or they call it blankets that they used to capture gold when they are washing. Mm-hmm. And in the same warehouse, they do the fabrication of the washer. That is the metal that they wash the gold on. In the warehouses, some are doing it in the front, and then of course we have some Ghanaian-owned mechanic shop that also do this fabrication. But the fabrication of these washers or this metal structure is illegal in the country. We're not supposed to have that done. I saw a Ghanaian in his shop, and I asked him if he knows that what they fabricate is illegal. He said he doesn't know. So we did education for him, and then we asked him to dismantle the whole structure and not to go back to it. So even when we saw Ghanaians, we still dealt with it. We had our mechanics also with us.
Past 22 rather to the top of the hour. This is one part of what it is that we're having to show to you, and this is a conversation between my colleague Alfredo Kanti yesterday on Ghana Tonight with Professor Nanama Brown Kluche, who's the CEO of the Environmental Protection Agency. I'm going to go over to production right now because we have some two videos, very short as well, but we'll lay the foundation upon which we will begin the conversations this morning of moments before the attack and when they were began to leave with some speed. Some of the young individuals pelting them with stones, amongst many other things. Kunzu, start this video for me, and for those of you who are listening, if you can go onto our Facebook where we're streaming, you can see this video as well, which we're seeking to paint a picture for you. And that's the first of the two videos. And in this one, if you listen closely to the conversation in the background, you hear the people say, if you catch us 10 times, we'll do it 10 times.
Yes.
My guests are already coming into the studio as well, and I'll introduce them for you shortly. But I just want CONVO to show us that second video again. The second video, very important. There it is, of when they were escaping and the people began to pelt them with stones, and the tensions were quite serious.
Oh, no way.
Go on to our Facebook handle. I'm going to have them repeat this video again, just for emphasis, but I need to mention as well, if you're on Facebook, you'll be seeing that video roll on. We've been joined in studio by Geoffrey Kabute-Okansi, is Executive Director of Revenue Mobilization Africa, as well Solomon Owusu is in studio for us, and then we're expecting Emmanuel Kutin as well to join us. But one more time before we get into our conversation, this video, very important. And that's their vehicle being attacked yesterday. A number of issues on our plates, but I think we'll start off with this Galamsey conversation. Solomon, I appreciate you joining us this morning as well. And you've been here. We've had the interview. We've seen the videos. It does look like we have a fight on our hands as a people in terms of this Galamsey conversation.
Good morning, Mauna, and good morning to my brother Kabute. We do. I mean, we are sitting on a time bomb. Gradually, it seemed to me that we are breeding rebels, and very soon the manifestation of it will be there for everyone to see. And it is becoming so because the moment the state becomes weaker, then it allows all these things to happen. And the state can only be weaker when the state is fighting itself. What I mean by state fighting itself is that it seems to me there are people in authority who are with these galamseys,
right,
who are leaking vital information, who are not happy with the government fighting this canker, and so there is always a divided front. Listening to one of the interviews, the
Professor Brown,
yeah, she said something that she was called by someone at the Jubilee. National Security, right. Yes, sorry. That they had to run for their life. Can you imagine?
Yeah, that the intel was that where they are is not safe.
Intel from whom?
Exactly.
Who gave that intel? And if the intel went to the National Security, is it the case that the state will always run away from its responsibility? Hey, then where are we? That National Security cannot quell any intel that is against, that is subverting the will of the people of this country? That is serious. It tells you that, look, some of this intel, that the so-called intel, could be manufactured intel just to get the people out of the place so that they can continue. I keep telling you that Galamsey.
But it was hostile, though. I mean, we've seen the
But
videos.
if people can go there with CID, vest, and be protecting Galamsey's, according to Professor Kuche, then what are we doing? This business of Galamsey, we have set time with that number. That is done by people that you call honorables, opinion leaders here and there. But I bet you, if you decide to go and dig just a millimeter of a land, you start 2 o'clock, by 2:02 you'll be arrested. by police because you don't have anybody, a so-called influential person backing you. This is something that has caused the death of a major of the army, Major Mahama. This is something that has led to the death of 8 gallant men. This is something that nearly, only a couple of days, led to the death of the director of operations of NEMOS. We are not even done with it. And see what is happening. Here, the journalists that accompanied the EPA boss, their lives were even threatened. People have been injured in the process. Is that not the case?
Yeah.
And all these people that did this, they could only be emboldened because they know that they have their protection within the state. And that even when you go back to Obuasi and this environs and go and arrest them, I can tell you in less than a day, they are back to their side. Why do we do that to ourselves? I've used that road before. From Obuasi to Dunkatru to Wasa to Takwa. Look, Mawena, the day you go on that journey, you will be for this country. They have destroyed the environment totally.
Right.
They have destroyed it. And I keep saying that, so with what has happened, can anybody justify to me why there must be a district chief executive in that area?
In that particular area.
Can anybody justify to me why there must be a police commander in that area? Why must it even take the EPA boss to be doing this? As a fellow of the state. Because in each of the districts and each of the regions, we have EPA officers.
Right.
So the director here must be concerned with policy and must not be going on the field. But because from the down to the top, they are all compromised, the director sees the need to go there. So the police commander immediately should be hauled. There are NIB and national security personnel stationed in these areas. How can you have national security and NIB officials in these localities? Yes, these distractions continue to take place and we still pay them. How about the military at the various regional capitals? So they want to tell me it has not come to their notice? How about the sector ministers? How about the so-called chiefs, the pastors, the imams who are in these local areas? Are they okay with what is happening? No, this is serious. And it is getting out of hands. And the earlier we come together as a country to deal with it constructively, we will make a headway. Look, if these galamseys were not emboldened, I bet you they would not have the gut to confront any security authority.
Right.
Because they will know the ramifications of it.
Yeah.
When you attack a military person, you cannot be sure of your safety. But this time they do it with impunity. With impunity. And so, for me, there has to be a rethink of this whole galamsey issue. The army must pledge their full support. We must give them the KPIs to operate. And that the president must give them that free word so that we know that when things are not happening, we can blame them squarely. But in a situation where army officials of the state attempt to do something and you have people who are supposed to know better fighting against the mountain, where would we be getting to? I'm so disappointed this morning.
Disappointment will be a just word. Let me bring in Mr. Kabute as well on this subject matter. What it is that we've seen, the videos, the audios. There is a challenge, and in listening to that interview by Professor Brown Cruche, she mentions that even after they were told the area is not safe, the subsequent direction was that they should not use the same route upon which they came. Meaning people could be waiting in ambush for them because of this simple operation of dealing with galamsey and stopping persons from manufacturing changfang machines, which is used for the destruction.
Yeah. A very good morning to your listeners and then to yourself, our wonderful host, and my dear brother Solomon. Good morning to all of you. I am not confused in my mind. I'll tell you this morning, I'm saying this on authority. Government has lost the fight against galamsey. We have lost the fight against galamsey. We are not ready to fight it, and we went into the battle with words. Now, action time, we have lost the fight against galamsey. Quote me anywhere. I said we have lost the fight against galamsey. They didn't do it in darkness, in broad daylight. In broad daylight at a location in Ghana, human beings born of a woman had guns, but they didn't have any authority to do what they were doing, and they were able to prevail. The word is prevail. They prevailed over authority. And so what do you want again for me to tell you? If it's a boxing fight, we have lost it. We have lost the fight. So we should just, let's hear people talk about we gathering again to see another approach. Right now, as we sit here,
the approach by the government.
We have totally lost the fight against Galamsey. Emboldened men, you saw them in the video. You saw them. The boldness to carry a stone and throw at a security man. And the security man was fleeing. There's another way where the security man is approaching, and maybe in your fear you throw the stone and run away. That's what you saw some time ago.
Yeah.
This one, the security man and the entourage were fleeing. They were running away. What would cause them to run away?
Well, they said they had received intel. The intel was that the environment.
The person who gave them the intel didn't have any
safe
backup to come in there. Solomon was asking you that in that sector, that region, look, it breaks down from regional command to district command. To the district command and even to the area command, there are no security officers there. There are no national security. Look, we have NIB officials. We have national security officials who are on the grounds, not wearing uniforms. They have to mop you up when you are misbehaving. Okay? You see the Rambo forces that we saw go to people's house to go and grab people? That's how they should have handled this one. So if you could not handle this one, you have lost it. No two ways about this discussion. Ghana has lost the fight against Galamsey. If I'm the judge this morning sitting down, that's what I saw. I saw a group of military BNI national security officials escaping and being stoned by, grounds members. The buffoonery, with no due respect, the buffoonery, the temerity, that feeling that you can even have with a grace of respect as a military officer to be fleeing, an armed one fleeing. Then have you thought of you, a journalist, and myself? If the soldier armed, trained to fight it to the peril of his life, is running away, has been told to run away. He wasn't told to take position, and that the regional or district team is beefing up, coming to give them backup, but he was told to retreat. The technical word here is that they should retreat and find a way. Did you listen to Madam? They were told to find another way. You are on your own. At that point, they were on their own. Find a way out. That is how, in fact, the word is useless. The situation was. That means you give up. You don't have any way of, but my heart goes to the EPA boss, her staff, the security operatives. These are people's children. These are people's husbands, their wives. What is their crime? They decided to do a job to protect you and I, the environment we live in.
Right.
And for that reason, they have to be running. When, in fact, state security couldn't protect them. They have to be running. The one who's supposed to fight them is telling you to run away. But I think the boldness at this point, like Solomon said, when you go to other countries, that the unfortunate situations happen there. This is how it started. Where citizens can think that they can override authority, they can override the security system. It's actually emboldens perpetrators of crime, that they can come out in boldness, in broad daylight, and act. Did you see any of them wearing any mask?
There were no masks, actually. It was open conversation.
The near mask attack recently, a few days ago. Did you see any of those who were fighting or attacking the authorities wearing any mask?
No.
That is, you see, even when you saw them in masks, you think that they are hiding, they are scared still. In their buffoonery, they are still scared. But this is where the person tells you, you know what? I'm coming all out with my face. I don't care. I don't mind. I can handle you. You saw them, they pounced on the vehicle and were throwing stones just a few days ago.
Yeah, over the weekend into Monday. We were having this conversation.
And as if we've not finished one plate, the second plate has been served. This one, it is in broad daylight again, and they are pelting stones. Funny thing is that when you saw them moving away, if you don't have that boldness and wickedness at heart,
you'll not be going after them.
You are actually, it's not about a 50-50, it's about 60-40 now. The match is 60-40 in favor of the perpetrators of crime. They are actually now chasing you out of the zone. A zone that you have national security, a zone that you have the regional police command, a zone that you have the district police command, the DISEC, RegSec, they are all there. They didn't get any information till the people had to run away and run for their lives. They've been told to run away. Fact is that on the records, on the face of the facts right now, government has lost the fight against Galamsey.
In terms of where we are and what we've seen, the president had told us that, look, he had not been advised by national security to bring in, to declare state of emergency. Considering what we've seen in the last 1 week alone, and you have stated quite emphatically that, look, this means we've lost the fight.
Yes.
We've lost the fight.
I'm not saying the facts are showing. They are running. Don't you see security officers running away?
Well, that's obviously
the one who is wielding the gun is running away, and the journalist and the CSO worker who are open, we can handle it.
My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar, I'll come to the question of state of emergency, but my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar was actually with the team yesterday when all of this happened, and he was in the vehicle which encountered that head-on collision, I suspect as well. I will just take his account of things, and then I'll return to you, gentlemen, and then we'll continue. Ibrahim, thank you very much for joining us, and I pray, hoping that you are doing well. It's the first time we're speaking. Yesterday I tried reaching you on phone personally, but I suspect there were so many calls, and so the line was unreachable. Are you doing well as we speak this morning?
By God's grace, we are doing better compared to yesterday. As I speak to you, we are still at the hospital waiting for the doctor to come and tell us what next as to whether some of us will be discharged today or not. But one other colleague who was critically injured was rushed to the Kompanochi Teaching Hospital last night, and he was operated on. Fortunately, this morning, we are hearing some positive news that the surgery went on successfully. So we thank God we are alive.
Ibrahim, all glory to God that you're alive and that surgery as well has been successful. We've had the version of account from Professor Brown Kluche, but you are a man who was there. Yesterday, interestingly, during midday, we were seeking to connect with you and we couldn't. Was it around that time, the midday news, I was on News Central, that all of this was happening, reason for which our phones or we couldn't connect with you as well? Talk to us as to what happened really.
Okay, so Mauna, the Environmental Protection Agency officials were here on Wednesday as part of efforts to fight Galamsey, to also conduct an operation. So DS was a bit different from moving to the site. They wanted to go to the root cause and do it. So they were targeting companies that were selling mining equipment without license, these chamfine machines and other things that are used for illegal mining. So on Wednesday, they clamped down on 19 shops, closed them down and made some arrests. So yesterday, we were to continue with that operation of seizure and closure of shops. So along the line, we had gotten to Obuasi, then we decided to split into two groups. The first group entered the Obuasi community, and we were heading towards Dunkwa to continue with the operation. But when we got to Dajin, that is just some few meters away from the Obuasi junction, there is a community there, Dajin. We were driving past there, and we realized that there is this river that mining operation, illegal mining operation is ongoing on it. So we decided to stop and take a look at what's happening. So when we approached the site, the miners, those who were working, bolted. So then the EP officials decided that, okay, they will seize some of the equipment there. Then later, they called some of the people to come for an engagement. So some few came, And we were having a fruitful engagement.
Meaning what? They weren't seeking to arrest, but they were seeking to just engage and understand exactly what it is that was happening.
Exactly, because our main mission for leaving Kumasi wasn't even visiting sites and the like. So when she started engaging them, telling the community they need to protect these water bodies and also the rest, then after some few minutes we realized that people were massing up. A number of people were coming, making noise, saying they will not stop Galamsey today nor tomorrow because that's their main source of livelihood. So the group that were coming, they started inciting those who were already there. And they were just shouting, telling us that we should leave. They will not allow us. Even some of the motorbikes that were seized, they had to forcefully take them back, and also some of the equipment. Then the tension started escalating. Then some started throwing stones. Mind you, we went there with only 2 armed personnel, armed security personnel, because, like I said, the initial plan was not even to go to the site. So when they came in their numbers and they realized that the armed personnel were not enough, they felt they could overpower us. So others started pelting stones at us. So quickly, we had to retreat and run for our lives. But then we were informed that we couldn't use the Obuasi route to Kumasi again because they are likely to ambush us on the road. They have done some barriers and the rest. So the decision was that
the illegal miners have created barriers along the Obuasi to Kumasi road.
Exactly. That's the intel we picked.
They own the barriers. They own barriers which originally police officers are supposed to be mounting barriers. We have illegal miners having barriers along the stretch which could prove dangerous for you officials and then journalists as well returning from Obuasi.
Exactly. Even though we didn't see the...
You have just 1 minute remaining. You can dial *506.
We'll try and, Ibrahim, let's rectify this. There's a challenge of airtime, and so we'll just try and rectify that. And Frederick will call you on the other line so that we can rectify this or finish up this conversation quickly. That's my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar telling us that there are barricades or barriers, that if I can call it that, barriers along the Obuasi to Kumasi stretch, which was part of the intel they received, reason why they were told not to use the same route in returning. He'll just join us again, and then we'll just finish this. Ibrahim, you were talking to us about these barriers and the intel you had received.
Okay, so we had information that they are likely to ambush us on the road. So as to whether it was a proper barrier that they mounted, we didn't see it, because even the other team that went to Obuasi at a point also had to seek cover in a chief's house, because when they were heading towards some of the areas, they realized that people were fully armed and they were coming to them. So they also had to move to a chief's palace for some time before they left to Kumasi. So when we had that intel, then the decision was that we have to use the Dunkwa road. We are coming back to Kumasi, but we have to pass through Central region to Western North region before we can connect back to Kumasi. So we use Dunkwa to Ayamfure, to the Bieni road. So that was the route that we were using, and that's whilst on our way coming, because we were also on a top speed. We didn't know whether they were still chasing us or whatever their plans were. So, and on the road, unfortunately, we had a head-on collision with a truck. But fortunately, like I said, there wasn't any fatality, just some injuries, and for now, everyone is responding to treatment.
Ibrahim, I'll leave you and have you continue to recuperate. Thank you very much for this version of account as well. That's my colleague, Ibrahim Abubakar, in the Ashanti region for us. And so he's as well laid the facts. It does appear that these guys have taken over the entirety of the area, because there were 2 teams. A second team which had gone to the Obuasi township also had to seek cover at a chief's palace, because per what Ibrahim is telling us right now, they were confronted by persons who were heavily armed and had to seek refuge at a chief's palace. Mr. Kuti, you're welcome, and perhaps I'll start off the conversation with you now as to whether or not, based on what it is that we've seen, by now we should have had word from either the police as to whether or not investigation is being carried out as to what happened yesterday, and now there cannot be a reason why a state of emergency is not declared.
Well, Mawina, thank you for having me, and very good morning to our cherished listeners. As always, because of you, we are here. We salute you. And I want to salute my co-panelists as well, especially my good brother Solo, who is bereaved. Solo lost the sister.
Oh, we didn't know that.
And then the 1 week celebration is next week. So we'll do the 1 week next week, right?
Yes, 15.
So you must make sure you get a truckload of Casa Prosecuted. And you go to Guinness and do what they call the crowd will overwhelm you. You are now a national asset. So Mawina, back to the issue. You see, I have said the fight against Galamsey have turned ideological. The incidents we are witnessing, it doesn't surprise many of us. And this goes to the core of what we have always preached, that the president should declare a state of emergency. The president says until he's advised by the National Security Council, he will not do that. You see where it is leading us to? Have you seen where it is leading us to? Any phenomenon that you get the youth mobilizing to fight state agents who are supposed to be protecting their future, arming themselves to fight state agents who are supposed to be protecting them, getting free access to ammunition, light weapons, and those kind of things, drugs, the red and what have you. And then if you go to these Galamsey sites, prostitution is very rift. It means that we are heading to a stage, if government doesn't act now, it will become practically impossible to confront it. I always use the Boko Haram as an example. Look at how the Boko Haram started. When their said leader was arrested and he died in prison, he became a martyr. Is that not it? Then the people came out to say that, look, Boko Haram simply means Western education is forbidden or is not good. What was their justification? If Western education was good, how come the youth don't have jobs? How come we don't have infrastructure? How come our lives are not turning around? You see the might of the Nigerian army, they have not been able to fight Boko Haram because of the ideology behind it. So Galamsey, if we don't confront it now, and it turns completely ideological, that is where we will see a lot of extremist groups in this country. And that is where the terrorism we talk about, we are immune, we don't get to see our neighbors attack and those kind of things. Go to the Galamsey side, most of them are foreigners. In the Bono case, the guy at the center of it, was it not a Burkinabe? What was a Burkinabe doing there? So look at the incidences we are talking about. And you think that as we talk, no arrests? And I'm not even surprised. If you go around it, political leaders are behind this kind of boys. That's why they're able to do what they are able to do. Because they draw their powers from somewhere. And because of politics, we have paralyzed our security architecture. How can an inspector have power over an ACP? If not for politics, what can that be? How can you have a junior rank officer, given how regimental our security agencies are, having a command post over his seniors? So you see where we are heading towards to? We have always pretended in this country as ostriches. Now it's staring at us, and nobody is safe. If you look at the environmental angle, it's not good. If you look at the economic, it's not good. If you look at the security, it's not good. And these are the indices that makes a proper functioning democracy. So Mawina, where are we? So the president should continue to tickle himself and waiting for the National Security Council to advise him to declare a state of emergency. I don't think his regime, and to me, I think it's a legacy regime he has come to at this point. And Ghanaians didn't disappoint him. We gave him an overwhelming majority because we had so much belief in him. He's done well in other areas. Why is the Galamsey issue a tipping point everybody is running away from? Why are we all snowballing around it? Is it the case that there are some powerful individuals behind it? We don't want to offend them, even to the point that we are giving birth to malnourished children with severe disabilities. Are we comprehending in the future the social crisis this country is bringing upon itself? And this is the case. Our social services are not even up to scratch. Our social services are not up to scratch. So, Mr. President, you see that I'm a very calm person, but today my demeanor is different. You are somebody I admire and love so much, even though I don't belong to your party. But you, as John Dramani Mahama, your nationalistic approach to issues, I can see that you mean well for this country, but you are failing on the Galamsey aspect. And if we properly want to fight Galamsey, the time to declare a state of emergency is now. Mawina, I want you to ask the president for me. There have come countless times that Semi Jemfia and his gold board, they don't buy gold from the illegal miners. They have systems in place where they buy gold from legal small-scale miners. And they have task forces that arrest illegal goods and those kind of things. So where do these illegal gold miners sell their gold to? Whom do they sell their gold to? Because if there is no demand, there will not be supply. It's a common issue. Is that not it? So we want to know. And secondly, how many arrests have been made in terms of gold they have confiscated from these illegal gold miners? And what have they done with such gold? So this country, I always say something. When your neighbor's beer is on fire, you fetch water close to yours. We saw what happened in Kenya. We saw recently in Tanzania. Are we witnessing what is happening around the world today? I'm not a prophet of doom, and I said this somewhere. If this government doesn't act on the Galamsey issue, I won't be surprised if a time is coming soon when every well-meaning Ghanaian, it will not matter you are NDC, MPP or whatever, will be fighting for our very survival.
Right.
And we'll occupy the streets and by extension, the Jubilee House.
Let me bring in a number of the views that are being shared on our Facebook stream, and I need to mention that we're streaming on Facebook. Our handle 3FM927. A number of you have been sharing thoughts. Governor Ni Johan Dangote says, if not something, the state of emergency must be done. This one says, has Paul Gold Papa says, has any one of you realized that with all these good performance of the government like Big Push, Galamsey is overshadowing them? That's how Mahama's second term will be failing. Fred Ajiman Akwesi says, good job, Mr. Owusu. Indeed, you have Ghana at heart. I commend you highly for fighting against corruption and the canker in our country, even as you mourn your sister. My thoughts and prayers are with you. That's from Senior Rocky. And Mariam Maria Adam says that you can do responsible mining by not destroying our water bodies. Water is life, and the 35 million people who depend on water can't sit and see small greedy fools destroy, pollute our waters and poison our food. You having no job does not warrant you to poison the rest of us. Let's return to it, and I'm coming to you again, Sulu. That one of the viewers makes a very important point that on other fronts,
yes,
the government appears to have chalked incredible success in terms of inflation targeting and the likes, but the undoing appears to be galamsey, and at this rate, it is what will result in whether or not a determination will be made if they have indeed lived up to the billing.
So it's true. The texter is right. Inflation is down. It's now 8%.
8%.
Policy rate is down. You have your exchange rate stabilized. You have fuel prices dropping. These are positive indicators, but galamsey can wipe all these gains. Why? If your environment is being destroyed, what it means is that you will be denied access to land. The land itself that can lead you to massive farming output will be denied. And once it is denied, it means we will go back to our old self, which is importing more food into the country, meaning we would demand more forex, and then it will cost your exchange rate to as it were wobble. Secondly, if they continue to, as it were, poison our water bodies, what it means is that our budget or our budgetary allocations on health matters will go up, because then we will need more medicine and hospital infrastructure to deal with that menace. There again, it will affect your exchange rate. If you are poisoning your water bodies and by extension the food that you consume, it means your human resource, which is the most important resource that any nation can have, will be suffering. We will have experienced a lot of deaths here and there. And that is why Ghanaians are very much focused on the core issue of galamsey. So you can be doing good in other aspects, but if you don't tackle the main issue, I'm telling you, you will not receive the praise that you expect Ghanaians to give to you. President Mahama, together with his administration, they came to explain to us why they believe that they have not gotten to the point of what? State of emergency. They explained that they have put in place structures. Now, what are the structures? What comes immediately to mind is the establishment of the NAMOS. Is that not the case? What I know for a fact is that NAMOS have not been funded adequately. If all your hope is banked on NAMOS, and NAMOS is not being funded, then what are we doing? But I'm going to hold on till this November's budget. I want to see how much this government would allocate to the NAMOS that is fighting the galamsey.
I think that to an extension will be the Lands and Natural Resources.
Absolutely. I am monitoring closely, because it cannot be that even where they expended close to $200 million in fighting galamsey under the SWAL administration, we did not make any headway. Now we have been told they have 10 or 12 pickups. The whole country. When people are using sophisticated guns and so on and so forth. So there has to be adequate budgetary allocation to the NAMOS if indeed the state of the nation, state of emergency will not be implemented.
Right.
Secondly, the president, together with this administration, must be told. The president must put his foot down and call his men out. Because whether or not NAMOS will succeed will also depend on the backbiting, the pull him down attitude from members within the government. Now, we were told that the intel, Ibrahim said the intel came from what? The barriers around the Obuasi area.
That they had some barriers.
I can tell you, if you speak to any security official who has been embarking on these, galamsey fight, going to various sites, they will tell you the main informants to these galamseyers are the police personnel stationed at the various barriers. When they see vehicles of military personnel coming quickly, they call them. If you have ever used the Obuasi to Dunkwa Road, and you can ask Ibrahim, because I took my time during the 2024 election to use that road. Anywhere you will see galamsey happening closer to the roadside, just 10 meters away, there is a police barrier. Yes. They are there. Are they there supervising them, or they are there to collect their daily sales? Money. So they are the first enemy to the state. These police people that you have, they are the national security and the NIBs. They are the first enemy of the state. But how can you call yourself a district chief executive when there is galamsey ongoing in your constituency or in your district? How can you call yourself a district chief executive? Because you are in charge of the dissect. You meet periodically. Are they telling us that they are not in the known that galamsey is happening in their districts? So, Mr. President, like you told us that one of the measures that you'll be putting in place will be that when galamsey happens in any district, the district chief executive will be fired. I don't see why you must go shirk this responsibility. All those, by now, that Obuasi, whether it's a metropolis or municipality, the MC, the woman over there, should be fired immediately. Then it serves as a guide to the rest of the MMDCs. Now we also tackle the issue of the MP critically. All those that were involved. Look, in the case of the Hwidium, if you read the account of Demos, what they say is that when they went to the site and they apprehended or accosted the illegal miners and asked them to call the owner of the site, when the guy made the call, the first person that showed up was the defense intelligence assigned to AF. Was it the case that he was the owner of the site? Because the instruction was very simple. Call the owner of the site, and the first person to come is the defense intelligence officer. Then the next person comes and identifies himself as Alex. Then the third person is what? The MP. See the chronology of event. No security official even popped up. MP comes, he comes with tax. So how can we win this battle? The MPs themselves are complicit, assemblymen are complicit. In the case of the Obuasi, you remember the role of the assemblyman?
Yeah.
That led to Major Mohammed's death. So you see, the society has been so corrupted. But any state that sit down for the individuals to be powerful more than the state is no more a state. And my brother was saying something. Look, they have already idealized it. Yeah. What they are saying is that galamseys are saying that you are sitting in Accra and stealing our money. We will also destroy the land and make our money. So they have found a reason to destroy the environment and to be destroying the environment. And like everyone knows, when they went and destroyed Yomo Bega, the Abrwani and Gradad forest, who were those people there? Were they not Burkinabes, Beninwans, Ivorians, and so on and so forth? So we as Ghanaians have allowed foreigners, and because of pittance, because of how greedy we are, opinion leaders, district chief executives, national security operatives, NIBs, and politicians, how greedy we are, they give us pittance, and we allow them to destroy our environment. It's not good enough.
Right. I'll bring you in as well, Ms. Okansi. On
that, like my brother Solomon said, it I wouldn't say it appears. Galamsey is not state sponsored. It's state sponsored. If state agencies who are in charge of confronting this menace are in bed with the galamseyers, is it not state sponsored? And the second thing is, Amawina, you see, every position comes with some sort of responsibility. When you are given a position to perform a duty and you don't perform that duty, what happens to you?
Exactly.
We don't look at that aspect. That's why people don't see the deterrent, and they continue to do the kind of things they are doing. I'll come to the
conversation about duty bearers, because I've listed a number of things which we were promised. One was that district chief executives, municipal chief executives were going to be in charge of the galamsey fight from their respective municipalities and districts and metropolitan areas. And then second, that police commanders were going to be changed from time to time to ensure they are not complicit. And so we're going to be asking questions of the Interior Minister and as well the local government minister. But I want to just bring Ms. Okansi in, because you are as well the Executive Director of Revenue Mobilization Africa. There's a revenue aspect of this conversation in relation to the activities of small-scale mining and as well galamsey, because Since this administration took over and we've been getting updates as to the input and contributions of gold into our economy, we've got to understand that small scale sector gold we get from there has gone past our revised one, not far outstrip, has gone past that from our large mining companies. There are those who make the argument that there is an incentive there for government, that it has come in, it is helping stabilize the currency and all of that. And so we are not even considering the idea of a possible ban, because as it is now, some will say that, look, let's ban the activities of small-scale mining so that we can have a grasp of what is really happening.
Okay. I would like us to start from one. Let's demystify something here. On the field of small-scale mining, there's mining in the water and there's mining on the land. The mining in the water, every sane human being gifted with brains should know that this Ghana has never sanctioned anybody to mine. Nobody has been licensed to mine in water in this country. Nobody has any license.
It's a red zone completely.
When you see anybody in that water mining, that person is at war with the state. Look, even during wars, there's a global convention that countries cannot poison the waters of another country. Even during war, Ukraine cannot poison the water of Russia. And neither can Russia poison the water of Ukraine. Let the wise ones listen to me this morning. I'm saying any sane human being in Ghana should know that nowhere, no day have anybody been licensed to go and mine in the water. So when you are seen in the water, you are an enemy of state. You are at war with the state. And even as you are at war with us, there's a global convention that even if you want to kill us, don't put mercury in our water we drink. Even if you want to kill all of us, you don't have the right to put mercury in our water for us to drink and die. That's even when you are at war with us. So let's start from that grounds. You would listen and go forward that when they went to the shops, they were saying they wanted to close down the shops. What is closing down? Shamfa should be seen as like a treacherous weapon. It is that which they are using in the waters. So when you are caught with Shamfa, you are a criminal. You are enemy of state. You are an enemy of state. When you are caught with Shamfa, you are an enemy of state. You are ready to kill. So you should be prosecuted that moment and there. So I was really surprised they said they were closing shops. Closing what? Closing what shop? To do what? Are we even serious in this country? Is it, look, they were telling you that farming activities has been affected. Do you know the next thing about it? You see our cocoa. People don't like us already. And you are playing into their hands. Because just as they've seen the chemical deposits in Kotomre and the rest, the next thing you see is that there will be a global report that our cocoa has deposits of mercury and blah, blah, blah. And that will be our end. Let's wait for that. Then the persons engaged, okay, in are foreigners. Majority we've seen and we are walking around. Look, it is diplomacy. We would want our brothers to come. I am Ghana and I'm on my land. We have a saying that Ablekubeba Kumao. You see, come, let's have fun. We can't live alone. Can we? Your own first president said what? The independence of Ghana will be meaningless until it is linked with the total liberation of the African continent. Come together, Africa. It doesn't mean when you come to my house. Look, in our house, when you come, I invite you to come to my house. When you see my father, you greet him. You know where to sit and where not to sit. There are rules governing everything. It starts from the home, it goes to churches, it goes to companies. So there are rules. How do you get foreigners come here and perpetuate such? It is somebody with them. There are traitors from within who bring these people here and engage with them. You know that, have you seen videos from China about their water bodies? How dare you go close to the water body and even fish in it, you don't have license or authority, let alone to go and dig it and destroy it. The next thing again you look about is actually the issue of reorganizing and going back again. Look, I've said it, my brothers have said it, but me, I've put it already. We have lost the war against Galamsey, period. Now let's come back. The monies we use for where are the drones? The drones that we bought.
The drones, they've not been accounted for. That I know very well.
They are all part of the top
exactly. The drones, their whereabouts are unknown.
We did Jack, where are you? Softwares. that we were supposed to know every corner.
Because since this administration came, we haven't got an update as to where the drones are. That question has been asked a number of times, and the response has been that nothing of that sort exists, because we know we were told drones were being procured, but nothing of that sort.
But you see, as my father taught me as I grew up, he said, when you see one side, my brother also used that when you see your brother's beard burning,
you fetch water beside yours.
You know what? At this point that we have seen, that we are playing child's play with this side of it, let's make sure we have camps at the voter region and around the Akosombo areas and protect that one, so that at least by the time this fight that we've lost goes on to maybe a halt and grinds to a halt when it is finished, we don't hear any bad news at that side too. At least we should be forewarned, and we should be proactive that side we can be doing good things with it.
Right.
And again, I would like to tell the president that he remains the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, and he is in charge. He promised us that he will take action when he connives with the National Security Council. Indeed, in our basic minds, we are not security experts. We don't have degrees.
Mr. Kuti is a security expert.
But he is actually like not a government person.
Right.
To come in
and
to have the authority is when the people vote you into power. Now he has the authority. He has all the agencies at his disposal. We are pleading with him to crack the whip. If for nothing at all, our water bodies, that side alone, no document. When you talk about the forest, 2462.
To add to
LI 2462.
You see what the swiftness they put the MP to court.
Yeah.
Just to remove the political pressure on them.
Right.
What happens to the line commanders people have always reported?
We'll come there. Yes. We have to go for a short break. So just round up for me.
So in conclusion,
it's political.
When this war started, we all from the previous administration, we all spoke. The war is still on. I have sat here. Maybe they have other advice to give. He's an expert. He has me in my little mind. As what I've seen. I don't get in there as a phone. What I've seen. Look, I may not be an expert in boxing, blah, blah, blah. But when I see two boxers fighting, I will know who is winning. And I'm saying in this balancing fight, you can't change my mind. We have lost it.
That's Mr. Okansi speaking to us. Let's go for this quick break. Then when we return, we'll begin to ask the questions of the Interior Ministry and the local government ministries as well, because they are supposed to have been leading a particular fight in terms of this Galamsey conversation. They have aspects to play. We'll get that, and then there are some other matters, OSP and the likes. We take quick bites on that as well, and then we wrap up. And the conversations are continuing even as we were on that break, and we'll talk to you about the Luckiest Africa, because you can win some money by dialing *712#. You choose option 1 to buy a ticket for yourself, option 2 to buy for somebody else. You pay via Momo. If you're outside of the country, you tap or you go to the luckiestafrica.com, you register. After which you tap on community ticket, and then you pick a ticket for yourself or you pay for somebody else as well. And if you want the system to pick a number for you as well, it can do same. When it's time to pay with Momo when you're in Ghana, or pay with your Visa or MasterCard or your card if you're outside of Ghana. It's a season of winning. Let's get lucky together, because luck is everywhere. Let me return to my guest in studio, because the conversation has been ongoing even as we've been on the break. But it does appear that there's a concern about the operational ability of our security architecture, NIMOS and the likes, which will fall to an extent under the Interior Ministry, and then as well the Defense Ministry, in terms of what we have seen. Have they not failed us in terms of that promise to have the security shuffled every now and then to ensure that people are not compromised? Because from the conversation we're having, it does appear there's compromise on a number of levels.
Yes.
Reason why somebody is calling and saying intelligence says don't use this place. The intelligence knows there are barriers there, and has done nothing about it.
The security is compromised. We have a lot of people that are doing business with the Galamsees. You know, money, wherever money is, you cannot be too sure. So they are in bed with the Galamsees. They provide them everyday information. And it makes it very difficult for genuine security officials of the state to work effectively. When you look at NIMOS, the first thing you have to judge them with is whether or not they have even been provided with adequate logistics.
You say you're going to be on the lookout for...
for the budget. Because what they are operating with now is nothing to write home about. It is not something that they will be able to work with and deal constructively with this whole menace of Galamsey. They can't. And like I said, we have even spending more than $200 million under the SWAL administration. It didn't lead us anywhere. How much more you spending? Nothing. When we made noise more, they went and gave them some 5 pickups. The other time I heard they have given them something extra. But you know, it is worth it.
You are becoming the PR of
No, but I'm a Ghanaian. If there is...
He has interest.
Is this something you know? I don't know.
No, I have interest in there because you see, we of the United Party have had our position on this Galamsey matter.
Right.
Yeah.
We said that it has to be banned for a year. In fact, small scale mining and artisanal, banned for a year, revoke LI 2462, make sure, as for the water body, it's a no-go area. You don't have to even think of it. Now, we have voted for a government that is working. It is not for me as an opposition party. I don't have the luxury of having the power to control things. So we can only go with what they are doing. Now, they have told us that they are not ready to declare a state of emergency because they have brought in NIMOS. So the next thing, as a political activist, I decided to do is to go and check or find out what exactly the NIMOS is doing, and whether or not there are areas that we have to make input. I mean, that is what democracy is supposed to be. So I have engaged and I've realized that they have good heart, and they have the goodwill, they have the patriotism to work, but the tools to work with is it is virtually non-existent. And that is why I believe that this budget of November, all of us must be on the lookout to see what will be allocated to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and how much of it will go to NIMOS. And once their budget expectations are met, then we can take them on.
And demand a bit more from them. Just quick thoughts finally from the both of you, so that we can move on to another subject.
I go by what my brother Solomon is saying, because he has actually answered my question, and this is what I expected to hear from him for the benefit of our listeners.
Right.
Indeed. If the president or the government is falling short of declared state of emergency, which is the call of many Ghanaians.
Right.
And you are bringing an alternative like NIMOS. How can NIMOS fight with 5 pickups with this kind of menace? I think that logistically they haven't even prepared. And I'm bound to say that policy was rushed to take off the pressure of declaring a state of emergency. They always say the sweetness of the pudding is in the eating. So why will we be rushing policies and for what purposes? And that's the reason why I have serious problem with the MP who was accused of interfering with the NIMOS operation in Ewidium or whatever.
It's so serious.
So serious, you see.
Together with Collins Dowda.
And we are silent on Collins Dowda. I think that is not equity.
No.
We are silent on the National Security Intelligence guy who appeared there. That is not equity. And we must even begin to know, since when did we have district national intelligence officers when we have BNI officers there? Yes. And my checks reveals that these were party boys. Yeah. They decided to create that functions for them so that they can gather intelligence on political lines, things that are going on within the district that is not going in favor of the government, so that they can act on them.
And this started when? Under this administration?
Under this administration, until then, we had nothing like district intelligence officers. We had BNI officers.
We'll have to check. And
that is a fact. You know,
you don't come and say the things.
Have you ever heard of any district intelligence officer? And you know, these were hungry party boys. So if money exchanges hands, instead of working for the state for which they were deployed, they work for their stomachs.
Absolutely.
Because precisely our leaders are showing us many times that when they get positions, the first thing is to enrich themselves and their families before the state. And that's how the youth of this country are also learning. It's only in Africa that you get a political appointment, you become rich overnight. Right. And you look at the lifestyle of previous party appointees. It's not up to a year.
They are already suffering.
And you see that NDC in opposition, see their political appointees, fresh guys and women wearing fresh suits and what designer stuff. So these things, lifestyle audit of public officials is very important. And if you look at our security architecture,
it's compromised.
Is even more political than the civilians. Yeah. That is the honest truth.
Yes.
And you made a very excellent analysis. Look, all the social deviance we have in this country, let's take the prostitution for example. You see police passing by prostitutes and they don't even care. Yeah. And you know prostitution is against the law.
Yeah, of course.
It is not, I'm using prostitution as an example. But they see other things and close their eyes and move away. So far as it doesn't bring money directly into their pocket, they don't care.
Right.
The fight against Galamsey, if we had to rely on our security architecture at the state that we are, my brother said, we have lost it. Already.
Right. Let me just pick his thoughts as to what we can do, and then I'll ask about the OSP and then Mustapha Hamid, because they've been exchanging press releases and
finally, I think we have ended up trapping the loyal operatives. I mean, at the end of the day, like my brothers agree with me, you have others who are actually doing the dirty deal and they are walking free. So those who are dedicated are the ones you saw being chased and having accidents on their hand. You know, the innocent ones that are loyal to the state will be suffering. And I think we are rather motivating the offenders, and they are growing their numbers. The country is actually still in the hands of a president, and I believe that as a commander-in-chief, he can whip up the energies and ensure that he nips this one in the bud. And so this morning, my humble plea to the president is that, Mr. President, you promised that you would actually fight Galamsey. With the NAMOs that have been set and you have set motion, ensure that you equip them, ensure that they are cracking the whip, and especially those who are on our water bodies, they have declared war against the state. The state must go all out brutally against them and safeguard our state. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's talk the OSP's done with Mustapha Hamid and his lawyers, because they've been issuing letters back and forth. I'll start off with you, Solo. 3 minutes, so that we'll wrap up.
OSP, I've said time with that number that he's just playing with the minds of the people. And that is why Mustapha Hamid can boldly be on record to say that it's just a useless case that he has sent to court. You saw the letter that was written by his lawyers on his behalf, that the supposed 100 million Ghana worth of assets that have been seized by the OSP. It's a sham, it's a scam. There is nothing like that has happened. I keep saying that if the Attorney General, the reason why we brought the OSP is that the Attorney General had no capacity to be handling a lot of cases, and it's because they have issues with staff. Why then do you go and create another office when you could use the same budgetary allocation and give it to the Attorney General's office for them to expand or recruit more people to it? We of the United Party believes that there are so many institutions that are creating the impression that they are dealing with issues of corruption. When you go to Shraj, they say they are involved in issues of corruption. IOCO says they are dealing with corruption. OSP says it's dealing with corruption. NIB. So why don't you bring all these bodies together, align their laws so that we have one body and appoint a czar, an anti-corruption czar? That's it. And then you win him or her from the Attorney General's office. Right. They become so independent and deal with it. That is why you could have all these things. Remember the case of Cicely Adapa? At a point, we were told that the matter had entered into the realm of money laundering, which falls outside
the jurisdiction
of OSP. When you go to Yoko, is Cicely Adapa not working about?
Well, the Yoko has taken the docket again.
Taking the docket amounts to nothing. We have been in this country when this OSP told us that he was chasing Ken Oforiatta. Ken Oforiatta is chilling. He's not going to do anything. When you press him small, now he's doing more media bidding than anything. He's doing more media than the law. He will not help this country. But the people have stolen our money. They have stolen, and they know they have stolen. But because they know that rich man does not go to jail when they commit the offense, they go and get the lawyers. The lawyers are their friends, the judges are their friends, and then they go and speak law, whilst the money rests in their pocket. But the poor guy who go and steal goat, like Mauli Agbenya in Jasikan, the moment he stole Agbenya stole goat, that is worth 500. No, he has been convicted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was convicted in 2023. Look, recently.
How many years?
6 months.
Wow.
A goat.
For good.
Richard Asari, he stole a goat. As for him, the reason for which he stole a goat, beautiful. He said he's an orphan, and that he needed money to go and buy books and shoes to go to school. He was convicted because why? If you don't have a lawyer, you go to court and you plead what? Guilty. The moment you plead guilty, then you are at the mercy of the judge.
So
that is what we have. Either than that, these criminals will not be having time misbehaving in this country.
No, let me go to Mr. Kansi, then I'll come to you.
On a quick one, let me see for the OSP. I am bemused and perplexed about his operations as we speak. I wonder how his paperwork are going, that the people who are alleged to have committed the financial misappropriations have this temerity to come back and be hitting back at him. That means that, he's not doing a good job. He needs to sit up and ensure that his papers are speaking for him. Let me take a quick one as a PPP, the ECG one. Yeah. I think we should just be quiet on it and look at it very well. I can assure you, I can tell you the truth, it doesn't look like ECG is going to get the money back.
The PDS.
Let's forget it. We did the same thing under the Aquavitran run in the water sector. You remember? And then actually we got these people to come and manage our water sector. We ceded it to them, and then they managed the water sector. And then, like some of us in the CSO told them, don't go into that deal. They stubbornly went in there. We fought them, and then they actually didn't sign the renewal of the contract. As we speak, I heard the president speak yesterday that the PDS was not a bad deal, but then it was the way it was implemented. No, I was expecting him to rather say a public-private partnership is not a bad deal, but the PDS was a bad deal. It's done as evil and bad. So as we speak, my only advice is that the current government called us into a meeting, we had a discussion, we were looking at another PPP under this ECG management. But I said, and I mentioned, and I maintain that under the agreement, we should only do a PPP where the person coming is going to invest their own money in the metering, at that level of metering. So we produce the energy, and then they will come and in the distribution chain, they will be interested in bringing their own metering system, and then they put their money into the metering system itself.
That's the best way to safeguard their own revenues.
And then also do the collection, and then we can talk about then whatever is due them. At the end of the day, it shouldn't go, that contract shouldn't go beyond 3 years. We should be able to put them into fixed areas where about 3 years you should be able to do something and know, and analytically know whether we are making gains or losing. And then even if at worst we can break even, then we can stop it or we can decide to continue. If we do such a thing, I think a PPP will be healthy for the ECG, but we should be careful. Whoever is coming should bring their own money and come and invest in the metering system. We saw it under Aqua. We ceded to them, and then when you hear PPP, all in Africa especially, you will be pushing for an agreement where they come and be using our own machines. And then I ask, where are the guys we gave scholarship to go and study? Management and the rest. Where are they? The professors, the doctors, where are they? So if you want to do something like this and it's a PPP, let them bring their own money at the level of metering and collection. Let us not hear anything again that will seed a whole company into the hands of private people. That's insulting.
Thank you.
Wait. Okay. What investment did they make in there?
Yeah. What sort of life is this? What are we doing to this country? We school people, engage people to work, and then we go and give contract to another group of people.
To me, on the OSP, the OSP himself has become a threat to our fight against corruption. This simple as ABC. Because if you look at the events around him, and I even picked some intel that he doesn't operate from his office. He have an office annex. He's got a gentleman somewhere there who's doing deals for him. I think these are serious matters the state should be interested in. I think the NDC have an overwhelming majority. We brought the special prosecutor to cure a peculiar situation that was threatening the democracy and by extension the security of this state, corruption.
Right.
But looking at the money we have invested in the office of the OSP, corruption is rather on the increase. So we need to have a review and scrap that act. And like my brother said, we'll get a SAR under the Attorney General to harmonize these institutions so that we don't continue to waste taxpayers needlessly chasing the elephant.
Right.
And the final call is that, Mawena, you see, why is it so difficult for us as a country to amend laws when the laws don't inure to our benefits? Wallahi, we have to save this country. Wallahi now have properties worth 100 million Ghana cedis frozen.
In terms of correction, the properties are not his. It is just linked to the case. It is not directly. All of it is not direct. I mean, that's a clarification. I need to say that.
You see, what we are not foreseeing is that the youth of this country are fast learning from our leaders. That's why in the Galamsey side, they say, look, we gave you positions, you are not helping us. Go and chop at the top, we're also chopping at the bottom.
On that Galamsey conversation, there's a listener who says the personnel you are talking about is from Defense Intelligence. That's a military intelligence officer, not a national security
defense intelligence.
Okay, that's okay. If it's defense intelligence, I'm aware they deploy them in situations like this, and they pick intelligence for. If you look at the conflict-prone areas, we have them. You cannot even identify them.
But when they were looking for the site tonight, it was the defense intelligence.
But why did they appear there first?
That is the point.
Thank you. We were supposed to talk about the Afenyo Markin incident.
Look, let's give a bite to that. Very important.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Sunrise must give us.
If it's 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds.
So 30 seconds. I think that's the problem. You not operate within 30 seconds.
So I think
you not operate within 30 seconds, and then I'll be in trouble. I'll start getting calls. So let me do 30 seconds each.
I think sardonically we hear an alleged. I've heard this language in Ghana and I'm getting pissed with it. We've seen videos of the person hitting the person. Then we say alleged. The lawyers must come out and teach us why they want us to adopt that leg of language that alleged. We saw the videos of the honorable member hitting him. So I think he should come out and apologize to the gentleman, and the parliament should take an action against honorable for that.
Thank you very much.
I agree with you.
30 seconds.
I think that we must set examples in terms of obeying the laws. Afenyo Markin is no mean a person than the minority leader. He's not above the law. He must live by examples. To the extent that he falls fouls to the laws must deal with him. It cannot be the case that we have two sets of laws where political players can escape it and ordinary people like you and I cannot. It's not acceptable. When he even took the medical form, can you see the cheek of it? He has refused to go to a hospital. You have made a claim that you were assaulted, right? They gave you a medical form. He didn't go. They call on you to do that. He didn't do that.
Okay, so 30 seconds as well.
We have had a terrible members of parliament. Their behavior is not encouraging a majority of them to the public. You remember during the vetting how they destroyed chairs, microphones here and there, where the speaker assured us that he was going to deal with that matter expedition. Nothing has happened. So it has emboldened them. They think that they are above the laws. That's why Afenyo, in spite of clear evidence that he actually attacked the police officer, rather said he was attacked and went boldly to take a medical form, bring back the medical form. The man said, no, I'm not bringing it. So the law must take its course. If it can catch an ordinary person, everyone is ordinary before the law.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you all. That's Solomon Owusu. He's the director of communications of the United Party. Geoffrey Kabute Okansi, the executive director of Revenue Mobilization Africa as well. And then Emmanuel Kuti, executive director of Africa Center for Security and Counterterrorism. We'll do birthdays now.
For the road talk, say then go fix some, then go patch some. I see plenty load with the sit up car, I can now cooler when the youth ball.
And Emmanuel Saki is a colleague journalist. May your banks never run dry as many depend on you. May the good Lord guide and protect you. From myself, the rest of the guys here at 3FM, we wish you a glorious, fantastic birthday. A happy birthday as well to Mommy Benny. It's a joy to celebrate another wonderful year with you. We wish you increased strength, joy, and fulfillment in this chapter of your life. Thank you for all the sacrifices and love. You are a great blessing to all of humanity, Mama. May you continue to be blessed and have an amazing day. From all of your children, a happy birthday to you, coming from all of your children, Mama Benny. And a happy birthday to a big man, Chairman Felix Chamberlain. From myself and Enyonam Haliga as well, I wish you a glorious, fantastic birthday. Enjoy this day to the fullest. Next is the news update with Enyonam Haliga. This one is from Senior Counsel Poaberi Wedam to Avedi Wetime Poaberi. have a fulfilling 4th birthday. This is Dennis's little cousin. Yeah, little cousin. Happy birthday to you from all of us here at TV33 FM. Is a nephew or cousin? That part of the English is is English. I will wish you a fantastic, glorious birthday. Enjoy this to the fullest. And your name is up next with the news update at 10. We're back again on Monday, God willing. Thank you for listening.